All right, guys, the day has come. I've been so excited to show you guys the new ONE Wedge for a couple months now. We finally have the opportunity to have it out here. I'm with Mr. Martin Chuck to my left.
Hey, Eric,
Martin,
good to be with you, buddy.
Appreciate you being here. We're going to talk today about a couple things. One, I want to introduce you to this ONE Wedge that has completely revolutionized my chipping game. Martin and I are going to talk a little bit about the techniques that I struggled with, things that caused me big problems around the green that we see with a lot of players that may be able to help you. And then one really simple drill that you can use at home and how you can learn to use the bounce and use the ONE Wedge. You know, when I was younger growing up, I wasn't like, you know, a genius around the greens or anything, but I was decent. I could chip relative to my handicap level. But when I moved down to Florida, maybe like 4 years ago, right, I got the Bermuda, the tight, the grainy, the mud, the wet, and it sort of had to be more perfect with the strike. I remember the first month where I'd come out and chip, and I would hit one or two where I would just like literally duff a ball.
I know.
And this is coming from, I never really did that ever growing up. I was okay.
Well, different environment, right? Pennsylvania, Toronto.
Right.
You know, we had the same kind of bent grass, and you come to this sticky, grabby Bermuda. Look out.
Reality check for me.
It is. Well, for most.
And I think when you come down here too, it's like, man, if your technique is off and how good you have to be, it really exposes it. So I had my normal wedges right, that I have my whole life. And ever since I've been down here, and ever since I hit those couple of shots, I'm now to the point, and have been for the past like 2 years, where if I had a basic 20 or 30 yard chip shot, maybe in practice I could make it work, but on the golf course where it mattered, A, I'm nervous over it, and B, it's probably 50-50, honestly, of like, okay, I could probably hit a decent shot, or I chunk one, but because of my technique that we're going to talk about and how this club can help solve it, because of the way I would go with the ball back, hands forward, not a lot of bounce on my other wedge, and I'd have a lot of this sort of lag motion, which we'll talk about. Even if I did pull it off, I only had one shot, which was low with a lot of ball speed. And
kind of spinny, but it didn't really check because it's got too much landing angle. It's
unreliable. So my old one, I'll do one, and then maybe we'll talk about like the full swing versus chipping, and the drill will show. So as I'm doing this, I would go ball back, hands forward like this, a lot of lag. And again, I could pull that off. Like that's going to end up being a good shot. Very low. I could have equally just as hit it 2 feet in front of me.
Right. So, you know, here's the thing. Like, you got a beautiful golf swing. You're crisp, really good ball striker. So the elements that we see good ball strikers have, you know, the ability for them to feel so the weight of the club, I say putting pressure on the hands and stress on the hands. Here's the beautiful thing about a good ball striker. They change direction. That's lagging behind the pivot, and the pivot's driving this, and there's a bunch of forward shaft lean there. And it's like that 10 or 15 degrees, you know, on a 7-iron, that's a big deal. But when you're around the green, especially in this super sticky type Bermuda, that's dangerous because that really exposes the leading edge, takes the bounce that's there, takes it away, and those kind of shots are brutal. Now, here's a simple drill, and here's what I want your fans to realize is that when you change direction with a golf club, this club is going to resist changing direction, even on these short little swings. You have to learn how to kind of keep a little bit of pressure on this golf club so we don't have this, so we don't have those laggy looks into these short little shots. You know, I always say you can hold on a little tighter, you know, feel that trail wrist is a little bit more structured and have a little bit more crisp action of the triangle of the arms, the extension of the golf club, with a right wrist that is not flimsy and soft, that can you know, really expose that leading edge. So one of the drills I like, can I show you?
Please do.
So Sharpie, simple. Most people have it in their golf bag. Come on over. Let me get you set up. If we take your ONE Wedge, and this, you know, we're just going to see how nicely, you know, you got the pitch control sole right here, but I'm going to put some of that Sharpie right there. Okay. Well, here's the thing. I want you to wear that off with some practice strikes, with some practice swings. So show me how you're going to get that to rub right off the sole of the golf club.
You literally put it on like the back.
Toward the back. Absolutely, because I want you learning how to use the dynamics of your body, but without the lagging bent trail wrist. So this, you know who this is, by the way? This is Jason Day. When you watch Jason Day pitch the golf ball, you're going to see a pretty structured right arm that doesn't bend much and a very firm right wrist. And there's another one of the better guys like I like to watch from, I'm going to say 10 yards to 40 yards away from a green.
Yeah, he's certainly not going like this.
Yeah, no, never. That's the death move,
So what you're saying, Martin, is if I was like, my full swing 7-iron with speed,
yeah,
if I'm trying to compress it, some of that motion, cool, good.
Beautiful, you need it.
But if I'm hitting this soft, not as much ball speed 20-yarder,
yeah,
you're saying, okay, we're kind of almost maintaining the arc on
yes.
the way down we went back.
Arc management, radius is the key to being good at this. And if we're messing that up by having this diminishment that way on the way down, that's the killer move for good players, and they don't realize it. What helps you smash it to become a low handicapper is what terrifies you when you're by the green. That same little move, which is what led to your success hitting a long tee ball and great iron shots, you know, so that's something you wouldn't do hitting a full 7-iron, is it?
No.
But that's the feel you need.
Almost
a little
like
bit.
Steve Stricker.
Well, totally. Like, Steve Stricker, Jason Day, all those guys.
Okay.
So how'd you do? You've hit the ground a few times, right?
Yeah. Like I'm getting some off there.
Yeah, that's good. And I put that way at the back too, and that's a big rounded sole.
Yeah. Okay. So
fantastic.
Like, when I'm doing this, Martin, if they're practicing this,
yes,
I'm feeling that. I'm definitely feeling that right wrist, like you said.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm actually imagining the back of the bottom of the club.
Yes.
Striking the turf.
Yes.
Okay. Back of the bottom. And one of the things about this wedge, like compared to my normal, is that the bottom part of the club is so big.
Yeah.
Compared to what my normal looks like, which I think for me mentally helps.
Of course.
Like I feel like there's so much insurance compared to normal.
Yeah.
So even if they have a normal wedge, they could still draw this on. But because this is so big and so much forgiveness, I like it actually makes me sort of exaggerate even more.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. Almost makes the drill even better.
Let's go ahead and hit one. Put a ball in play.
Yep.
Okay, get set. Just, you know, you look great. Ball's sort of in the middle of a narrow stance. You look fantastic. Feel that structure in that trail arm.
Yeah.
And so see how soft that came off the club?
Ooh,
isn't that nice?
That is nice. And so a year ago,
if
we were doing this on a video, I would be very nervous to hit that.
Okay.
Literally nervous to hit it in front of you.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying of like how big of a difference. And I probably did that like maybe 80% good. You know, I probably still had a little bit of it's a good shot.
Yeah.
But again, this is where I'm saying like if you guys have chipping issues, I feel that pain and have felt that pain big time. And I'm telling you, the forgiveness and how big this is, and I also think the weight, I can feel the weight of the club head better with this compared to my other one. The confidence that I have to be able to do that right now is so different than it would have been with my old wedge a year ago. Like literally night and day.
So how long have you had the ONE Wedge for now?
I've been using this probably for like 3 or 4 months.
Okay, so I haven't had it that long, but I've had it at my golf school. And so I give it to the students and I let them use it. And I say, hey, just go check this out and tell me what you think. Let that club do its job. Let those features respond with the grass and the ball. This may go in. Oh! And they always say, hey, I feel a little bit of weight in the handle and I like that feeling. Yeah. And I said, that's a counterbalance. And that counterbalance helps keep the club head accelerating. So once we if they have that goofy flaw of like what a good player would overlag it, okay, once we fix that little touch, then they feel like, oh, I feel the weight in the handle now. It's under the grip. And then they can let the club head accelerate, let the club bounce. I just say hit the ground. Let it hit the ground, let it do its job. It's got all the design features in there. And then you get those nice softies that are predictable.
That's said way better than what I was trying to just express before. The fact that I can feel the weight like that, that's exactly what I'm feeling.
Okay.
I can feel like the club head compared to my normal bat, as we know, the butt of the club would win the race compared to the club head by a mile.
Right, dead.
And I've tried feeling the opposite with my other one. I just had a hard time with it.
Yeah.
With this in my hands, I feel like I actually, a little loose with my grip pressure, but I feel like I can let the club head sort of get back to the ball semi-even with the grip and just continue to match that into the follow through.
Pacing and facing with your pivot, yeah.
Okay, let's try one more like that. So normal setup, I'm gonna feel like I hit the back of the club, the back of the bottom of the club on the ground. I'm gonna maintain that arc a little bit. I just have a gentle sense of letting the club head throw. And there's another good example. Like I clipped that pretty darn good.
That was awesome.
I got some turf interaction, and even if when I was warming up, I hit slightly behind the ball on some of them, Martin and I were talking about, like, they'll still end up being playable shots. If you're like me.
Playable?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Those are good shots.
Plus handicap. Yeah, they're decent. But if you go out and play, like the one thing we can't have, and that holds all of us back from playing, is we get those chip shots where we hit a foot in front of us.
Yeah.
Skull them over the green. We have to get rid of those really, really bad ones. And I'm telling you guys, Martin, thank you.
Hey.
That was really good. Awesome.
Good to be with you.
We got more wedge stuff coming here, by the way. But the ONE Wedge, the past couple of months, like I've been saying, playing this on the course, completely revolutionized my short game. Going from super nervous to hit a chip shot to very confident, literally hitting right now on camera. This would have been really bad for me not long ago. So we're gonna put a link down in the description down below for you to get this. Not only do you get a full 365-day money-back guarantee, which means you have no risk to try this. You also get Martin's bonus training with this. You also get 30 days of free coaching with this. Plus there's a whole bunch of other bonuses. This is a no-brainer. If you're not great with your wedge and you're like me, you're gonna love this. If you guys have any questions, as always, just leave a comment down below.